Sipoc tool is an incredibly powerful tool. However, I must admit, I did not understand it. It took me 5 years after learning and becoming a green belt myself before I properly appreciated and understood the importance of this tool. So I'm just going to sum up some of the key values within it, and then I will explain in more detail what it is in case anybody's not familiar. So the first thing is the Sipoc tool helps establish the scope of the project in operational and process terms. It helps you because it helps you define what is value adding before you get lost in the detail, which can often save you a lot of confusion and time. In fact, one project, we never even got beyond the Sipoc. We were able to solve most of the problems just because of the power of the Sipoc itself. The next thing is, particularly where you've got a complex problem that's stretching up and down maybe quite a large amount or even an entire value stream, it can help you get the agreement as to where the priority focus for improvement is. And once you're actually underway, it can help you keep focused, because as you get lost in the detail, it's very easy to get distracted by what you can and can't do. Whereas this tool will help you stay focused on why you're doing it in the first place. And it's a place to come back to if ever you get stuck and lost. And the nice thing is it can work at very many levels. So you might have one that sits at the whole value stream level, and then you might have a Kaizen blast in an area where you build another one specifically scoped in on that area, and potentially even a very detailed one for one particular team maybe. So it can cascade, which is very useful. Quick warning point, however, and this is again from my own experience, is I have been guilty of not doing it or doing it very quickly, just filling it in, and neither of those achieve the purpose of the tool. So what is it? Now again, we always recommend keeping this to a single page, maybe A3 if you've got a lot of information, A4 if it's just a small local information piece, but try and keep it all onto one page. And let me take you round it as a template. So up front, what process am I working on? What verb noun, what bit of value creating, what's the process that I'm looking to work on? If I'm not clear about which process I'm working on, I'm certainly not ready to run a process improvement project. Next thing, what inputs does this process depend upon and who's actually supplying them? That's a really useful thing to understand, surely. And then what value does the process create, and for whom does it create it, and in what form does it create it, and who is accountable for the quality of that? Those top three things, without understanding those, we can't even establish who the right team is, let alone what we're going to try and do about it. And so once we've established the team around this, we've got that, we can start working on the team, we can start doing some voice to the customer work. How does the customer define the output quality? What's the definition of right? What's the definition of right amount? What's the definition of on time? And of course, we can use our Mark 1 eyeballs again with the team, go back, go see some more, and identify what are the current top priority issues. Is it scrap rates? Is it call abandonments? Is it work not being delivered on time? Is it an 18-month lead time to get that handrail fitted in your grandmother's flat? All of these kind of different things. What are the result concerns from the customer's point of view? Because the most important thing to fix usually is that, and there are exceptions, but usually that's the place to start. Then what we're doing is we're now looking at the process in a very, very high level way. What are the 4 to 6 value adding steps within the process, within that bit of it? And it may be that it's useful to include some of the necessary non-value add steps like collect stores from warehouse or something like that. But the crucial thing here is we need to, if we can agree as a team, what are the main value adding steps, then as a matter of fact, we've already got a very clear scope for where we're trying to make our improvements happen. Then we can drill into some detail, and you might find it takes a little while before you're ready to do this, but again, always working with the team. For each of those main value adding steps or the necessary non-value adding steps, what are the measures that you're currently using? Not all of the measures, what are the measures that you've got that link to the output? So maybe their defect rates, maybe their cycle time information, whatever it might be. But maybe you have no measures at all, And that is unsurprisingly perhaps now to me, but it's quite common that we don't have clear measures between the process and the output at step-by-step level. But if you do have the data, or even if it's just in qualitative form from conversations, what's the current performance? What we could do then is work out, using our voice of the customer, what would be the best definition of perfect at each stage in measurable terms. So instantaneous production, for example, the cycle time of 0, that may be practically impossible, but at least we understand what perfect would look like. You know, absolutely every single person arrived on time for their appointment in the case of a delivery service or a maintenance service or something like that. And then what are the sources of variation and how do they affecting the process? So again, using our Mark 1 eyeball plus any data analysis we've done, we can go and find out at each step what the issues are. And so before we even start our project, on one page, we've got everything we need to know to be able to say, here's our results concerns, and here's where we're most likely to get the benefit. So we can focus in very quickly with the team on what we want to investigate in more detail before we've even drawn a single process map. So fantastically powerful. Okay, so please do get the hang of the Sipoc, practice it, make it your friend.